I still remember the sound of her voice when she said it, calm, almost practiced. Ethan, I'm engaged to someone else. For a split second, I thought it was a joke. The way she stood in the doorway, clutching her phone like she might record me, made it feel like some kind of experiment. But then she smiled, small, nervous, polite, and I knew it wasn't a joke. The silence that followed wasn't ordinary. It didn't just hang in the air. It crawled inside me, sat heavy in my chest, waiting for me to say something foolish. I didn't. I just nodded once and said, "Perfect. You can move in with him." She blinked, caught off guard. I could almost see her plan unraveling. She'd prepared herself for tears, shouting, maybe even begging. She hadn't prepared for indifference. For a few seconds, she stood frozen before whispering, "Ethan, don't be like that. Don't be like that." That's what she said, after admitting she'd gotten engaged to another man while still living under my roof. I didn't respond. I grabbed my keys and told her, "You have the weekend to pack." No fight, no scene, just quiet finality. But the quiet didn't last. By Sunday night, her things were still scattered around, half-filled boxes, clothes hanging in the closet, and the ring I gave her 2 years ago sitting on the counter like a cruel joke. I asked her again, steady as ever, "Why are you still here?" She sighed, sank onto the couch, and said, "I can't go to him yet." I laughed. "You can't? You're engaged, right?" She looked away. "It's complicated." That's when it hit me. She wasn't sorry or confused. She was just comfortable. One man for excitement, one for stability. And I'd been her stability for too long. I didn't argue. I started packing her things myself, quietly, methodically. Every sweater, every picture frame, every shoe under the bed. When she realized what I was doing, she snapped, "Ethan, stop. You can't just throw me out." I kept folding clothes. "You made your choice. I'm just helping you live with it." Her voice trembled. "You don't understand. It's not that simple." I looked up. It's exactly that simple. For the first time in years, I saw genuine fear in her eyes, not the manipulative tears she used to win arguments, but real panic, the kind that comes when control slips away. She sat down quietly, watching as I packed. By the time I was done, it was past midnight. The room felt lighter, like it had finally exhaled. She whispered, "You're really done with me, aren't you?" I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The next morning, she was still at the kitchen table, eyes red, coffee untouched, staring at her phone. I poured myself a cup and asked, "You want me to help you move your stuff to his place?" She flinched. "He doesn't know yet." I paused mid-sip. "Doesn't know what?" "That you're still living here. Or that you said yes to him." She said nothing. And that silence told me everything. There was no engagement. Not really. She'd said it to provoke me, to see if I'd still fight for her, to create the chaos she craved. But I didn't give her that. I gave her peace, and to her, peace felt like abandonment. I didn't yell. I didn't ask why. I just said, "You can stay until tomorrow. Then we're done for good." That night, she came into my room, calm, quiet. She sat at the edge of the bed and whispered, "You never even asked who it was." I stared at the ceiling. "Does it matter?" She hesitated, maybe hoping I'd finally turn to her, ask her to stay. But I didn't. "It was someone from work," she said softly. I answered, "Then I hope your office romance comes with better insurance." She laughed. Not because it was funny, but because she didn't know what else to do. The laughter faded, replaced by a silence that said it was over. But it wasn't. Not yet. The next morning, she did something I never saw coming. When I came downstairs, she was in the kitchen, cooking breakfast. French toast. The kind she used to make back when things between us still felt easy. The smell hit first, stirring something almost nostalgic. For a brief second, it was like stepping back into the past Sunday mornings, soft music, her quiet humming. But then I noticed her hands were shaking. She placed a plate in front of me as if nothing had happened. "Eat something," she murmured. "You haven't eaten since yesterday." I didn't sit. I leaned against the counter instead. Why are you doing this? I asked. Her voice cracked. Because I made a mistake. I exhaled slowly. Which part? Getting engaged, or lying about it? She flinched. Both. I said nothing. Just looked at her. Really looked. The exhaustion around her eyes, the guilt sitting heavy beneath her makeup. I thought if I said I was engaged, she whispered, it would make you fight for me. I thought maybe you'd care again. I shook my head. So you lied. Was it to prove something to yourself, or to me? She didn't answer. Just stared at her trembling hands. I picked up my keys. You can't test love, I said quietly. It's either there, or it isn't. As I turned to leave, her voice broke behind me. I never wanted to leave, Ethan. I just wanted to feel wanted again. That's the thing about manipulation. It hides behind sadness. I turned back to her. You were wanted. You were loved. You just stopped noticing when it wasn't easy anymore. Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't feel anger anymore. Just emptiness. I left and drove until I reached a quiet overlook by the lake. I sat there for hours, replaying everything. The laughter, the distance, the moment she said those words. I'm engaged to someone else. It wasn't just betrayal. It was theater. She wanted to direct the ending, to make me chase her one last time. Instead, she handed me freedom. When I got home that evening, most of her things were gone. The house felt stripped. Just a few boxes remained, one with her old sweatshirt, another with a photo from a wedding we'd pretended to enjoy. On the table, a note. I didn't mean to lose you. I was just afraid you'd already left me in your heart. She was right. I had. I folded the note and tucked it away, never to open it again. The silence that followed was brutal at first. Every sound echoed, the microwave, the creak of the floorboards, the hum of the refrigerator at night. But eventually, the quiet softened. It stopped feeling empty. It started feeling calm. Months later, one night, I got a text from an unknown number. Just 2 words. I'm sorry. I stared at the screen for a long time, thumb hovering over the reply button. Then I locked the phone and set it down. Some endings don't need words. Sometimes closure comes from silence that no longer aches for answers. People imagine love ending with shouting, tears, or dramatic goodbyes. But most of the time, it ends quietly, like a door closing softly behind you. Weeks turned into months. I sold the house, moved into a small apartment downtown, and started over. No big gestures. No explanations. Just peace. Every now and then, I think about that morning, her in the doorway, saying she was engaged, and the look in her eyes when she realized I wouldn't fight for her. That's when it finally made sense. She never truly wanted marriage. She wanted control, disguised as love. And I wanted peace, disguised as loyalty. Now I wake up in a quiet room, sunlight slipping through half-open blinds. I make my own French toast, the same recipe, but it means something different now. Because real peace isn't something you find when someone chooses you. It's something you build when you finally choose yourself.